you an oldie but a goodie. I'm singing to the world. It's time we let the Spirit come in. Let it come on in. I'm singing to the world. Everybody's caught in a spin. Look at where we've been. We've been running around year after year, blinded with pride, blinded with fear. But it's daybreak. If you want to believe, it can be daybreak. Ain't no time to grieve. Said it's daybreak. If you'll only believe and let it shine, shine, shine all around the world. Sing it, girl. Singing to the world. What's the point in putting it down? There's so much love to share. I'm singing to the world. Don't you see it all comes around? The feelings everywhere. We've been closing our eyes day after day, covered in clouds, losing our way. But it's daybreak. If you want to believe, it can be daybreak. Ain't no time to grieve. That it's daybreak. If you only believe and let it shine, shine, shine all around the world.
Everyone's singing, singing to the world.
That it's daybreak. If you want to believe, it can be daybreak. Ain't no time to grieve. That it's daybreak. If you only believe and let it shine, shine, shine all around the world. Come on and let it shine, shine, shine all around the world.
Everyone's singing, singing to the world.
Said it's
Everyone's singing,
daybreak.
singing
Can you
to the
feel
world.
it? It's
Everyone's singing,
daybreak.
singing
Can
to
you
the
feel it?
Everyone's singing, singing to the world. Everyone's singing, singing to the world.
Sing to the world.
That was awesome, wasn't it? Yeah. If you want to believe, it can be daybreak, huh? I'm going to tell you stories, and one of the things is there's this saying, seeing is believing, right? Is seeing believing? No. No. That's an illusion. Okay? Believing is seeing. You actually see what your supercomputer, your consciousness and subconscious minds have programmed into your computer. So when you change what you believe, you will change what you see. So I have to start off apologizing. And I'm going to apologize for not apologizing, for being bold, outrageous, audacious, and authentic. And I'm sorry for anyone in the front row who gets hit with bodily fluids. I am not responsible. The other thing is, I feel really bad for those newcomers. I mean, you either pick the perfect day or a really bad day to come here, because I am going to shatter whatever you thought you believed when you came in that door, and hopefully change your perception of who you are. Because the stories I'm going to tell you is my way and my truth and my light that I discovered. It may not be your way and your path. It probably isn't. We all have our own way and our own path. it may not be your truth because your mission is to discover your truth, but it's my truth. And to discover your light. So I'm going to share my light. And that light is your power. And that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go on this path to discover your truth and shatter these illusions and find your light, which is a source of power. And I'm not talking metaphorically here. I am a 12-year nuclear engineer, advanced math major, reactor kinetics, physics, underwater acoustics, weapons systems, nuclear submarine officer. I've got so much left brain crap in my head, I walk with a port list. Okay? I'm surprised so many people in Texas know that. That, list is port, that means you lean to the left for landlubbers. See, I grew up on the water. So until I broke my neck and straightened everything out, which, took a little while. But, so what I'm going to share with you is the events that happened in my life, which changed everything. It changed my understanding of who I thought I am, why I'm here, where I came from, my purpose. It changed what I do, who I love, why I do it. It was a complete existential crisis. It shattered my Roman Catholic upbringing. It shattered my belief in a Republican Party or a Democratic Party. It shattered my belief in that I only live once and that I die. It shattered everything. And it was very hard, but it was very freeing, and it's a wonderful story. So I need to warn you now, okay, this is where, that was the easy part, okay? So you can fasten your seatbelts and put your tray table in the upright and locked position because, we're about to take off. The story begins with Act 1 with this young guy who started off as a fireman and enlists in the Navy and gets a nomination from the Secretary of the Navy, and I go to the Naval Academy, and I graduate. I'm one of 37 distinguished graduates. I'm a nuclear engineer and math major. I spent 11 years on a submarine chasing Russians and during the Cold War and carrying nuclear missiles. I leave them, I join Exxon, I become an executive with Exxon. I spend 10 years with Exxon. I get promoted 10 times. In 10 years, at age 31, I'm in charge of a $1 billion project supervising the Valdez oil spill cleanup, where I saw the worst environmental disaster and the truth about how the truth is all manipulated and you can't believe anything you read in the paper, and how the media and everybody does all the crazy things they do. During the rest of my life, I end up being in the middle of 9/11 and SARS, and so for some reason you can connect the dots for on your own. I always seem to be in the middle of some kind of crisis. My name really is Jonathan David Messenger. That's my birth name. A lot of people ask me that. That's my birth name. And my name was too long to fit on my name tag in the Navy, so they shortened it to J.D. Messenger. So that's how that came about. So after the 11 years in the Navy and the 10 years at Exxon, I become an Ernst & Young partner. In fact, I become the CEO. But I'm doing energy projects all over the world. I'm putting in the coal, oil, gas, power systems in Africa, China, South America, England. I work for the 10 largest oil companies in the world. I write the position papers for Rudy Giuliani and Barack Obama and John McCain. I'm advising prime ministers and members of royalty. I'm an important person, right? I was much taller. I was much taller at the time. Yeah, breaking your neck kind of slices you, cuts you off. They didn't cut me off the knees, they cut me off in the middle. So what happened was my neck started collapsing and deteriorating. In 1985, I was a submarine officer, and we were refueling my ship in the shipyard in Newport News, and in the middle of the night, a crane came and it hit me, and it snapped my neck back, and it crushed my neck. And, that hurt a lot, and I was in traction, and, you know, they put one of these stimulators with pads on my back with sensors, and whenever the pain got too big, I was supposed to crank the juice up, and I'd start twitching like this, and it was supposed to tell the brain not to, it doesn't hurt, but that didn't work, so I don't recommend that. But anyway, I got better. So that was 85. I was still in the Navy. Then I go through Exxon and Ernst & Young. So here I am 15 years later after all that important stuff. And I'm the CEO of Ernst & Young Consulting. I'm leading global systems and mergers and integration and writing all these papers. And at the time, I'm an advisor to the Joint Chiefs of Staff and Military Operations and the Prime Minister of Singapore. And my neck starts hurting. And it starts hurting, I take some pain pills. And it starts hurting a little more, and I take pain pills. By the time January 2000 comes around, I'm popping an entire bottle of pain pills every 3 or 4 days. I'm oblivious to the fact that my nerves are getting crushed and that I have no strength left in my arm, my left arm. I've just got to keep working, right? That's what it's all about, right? Isn't that life is a destination at station 401k called retirement? You know, money makes you happy. Take a pill, it'll solve everything. You know, these are all illusions. So I, the morning of January 18th, 2000, I wake up, I turn the hot water on in the shower, and I put my arms up in the air to stretch. And the last thing that was holding my neck together pops. And it twists my spinal column around. I don't recommend this, okay? It felt like someone took an axe and was trying to split me in half. It was that excruciating. So obviously I scream. And I come staggering out of the bathroom, like if this is the door, I like step out the door, the shower was over here, and I'm like screaming and going like this. And the next thing I knew is I'm out of my body. Now I had, at the Naval Academy, I had some officers who were from in Vietnam, and they told me about their being a POW and being tortured and having an out-of-body experience. And I didn't really know what that meant. I never really thought about it. Okay, but now I'm telling you, I had an out-of-body experience. I'm not in my body. I am like up here, if that's where my body is, and there's no me, there's no toes, there's no mind, there's no pain, there's no thinking. It's all rather nice, you know? There's just an awareness, a presence, and it's peaceful and it's blissful. And that body, it was like the plug just got unplugged from the doll or the puppet, and it just collapsed, and it flopped onto the bureau, and then it flopped onto the floor, and then whoosh, you know, I go off, and I go through a tunnel. And I'm not creative enough to make any of this up. So I can see all these things. I can't remember what I had for dinner 2 nights ago or a movie I watched 3 days ago, and I might not remember your name 3 seconds after you tell me, but I can't ever forget any one of these images or visions. It's, you know, like they were just moments ago. And so I go through this tunnel, and it's just like Jodie Foster in Contact, and if you saw that movie, it's a blue tunnel, and it twists around kind of like a slide in a water park at Six Flags, you know, a giant tube, and you're just swashing through that thing. And after I come out of that, I go through a black hole, and I hit this event horizon. So with all that left brain, nuclear engineer, math stuff, I'm not going to apologize for talking sort of scientifically, because my whole story is about the convergence of science and faith, of mind and spirit. That there's a religion called science, because you see, science is based on faith. All of the vast majority of all the laws in science about gravity and force and Newton's laws, we can't prove them. They're hypotheses. They've never been proven. You know, I could drop my pen and talk about gravity. We don't know what gravity is. You know, we can calculate the formula, but we don't know what it is. We don't know what force is. We can't tell you why that works. We can tell you the formula on the force required, but we can't tell you. There's so many things. You see, science is a religion. It's based on postulates and theories we can't prove. It's based on faith. But religion is a science. Religion is based on principles and practices, and when we do these things, and we do them with the right way and the right method, they work. And that's what I'm going to tell you about. Some of these things that I discovered when I do these things, they worked, right? It was amazing. So here I am. I go through this wormhole. I hit this event horizon, which is the part of a black hole, and you just like whoosh right down, and then I go through a gateway. And it's the most beautiful gateway, most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It's like triangular shaped. It's like, just imagine, another, and it's like locks opening up, locks upon locks. And I go flying through this thing, and it's beautiful colors, yellow, blue, purple, fuchsia, and that's all I remember. Okay, so sorry about that. But what happened afterwards is really amazing, and that's the main point. So they had taken me to the hospital, and we're in Singapore, and my wife wanted me to be medevac to the U.S., which is, Singapore's down there on the other side. It's, it's 25-hour flights on the other side of the world. And the doctors were like, lady, this guy's not going anywhere. He's not in one piece, And it's kind of an important piece. So they operate on me, and they say, we're not putting anything in his body that wasn't there when he was born. No screws and plates. No cadaver bones. So I go through the procedure, and I had a trachea, so I got a tube and a scar there, and there was tubes. They took bone out of my hip, and so there was tubes draining that, and there were tubes in other places, and we won't talk about that. But I was like Humpty Dumpty, and I'm really oblivious to it all because I'm on a morphine drip and I'm out and all that. So I finally wake up about 3 weeks later, and they send me home, and I go home to our house, and we've got a bedroom upstairs. It's kind of like a loft like this, and there's a bedroom in the upstairs room and in the back, and I'm in that. They turn it into a hospital room. So I'm there, and my family comes in trying to cheer me up. Now, here I am. I'm laying in bed. I'm completely immobilized because there's no screws and plates, and they just put like 2 inches of bone in the middle of my spine, and it's got to fuse. It's got to heal and fuse. And I've got no feeling, no nerves, no feeling in my cheeks because they cut that, so that makes shaving kind of tricky. And I've got no feeling down my arms and part of my back, and I can't walk. But other than that, I'm okay. Okay. So they come in, and they are trying to cheer me up because I'm not a AA battery. I'm a AAA battery. Give me a challenge, I'm going to do it. Clean up the 1,000 miles of shoreline, can. Launch a nuclear missile, can. Whatever it is, I can do it. But here I am, and I can't do anything. I can't cut my toenails. I can't brush my teeth. I can't even talk. I'm really upset. This is not supposed to happen. And so they come in, and my kids, they start talking to me about the time they went to Beijing and saw the Great Wall, and they thought I was with them. And they're telling me this story, and I'm laying there. No, I didn't go with you. I was too busy doing a merger. And then they start telling about their time they went to Australia, and they got these pretty pictures with koala bears. And I'm like, tears are starting to roll down my cheeks. And I'm thinking, what is wrong with me? Why have I been working my whole life? I've been living to work. What is wrong with me? I'm sick. There's something wrong with me. Really, I'm thinking this. And the tears, and I'm just like, please go away. I can't take this. I didn't go with you on any of those trips. So they leave, and I basically say a silent prayer to God. I'm not happy, And I'm screaming in my mind at God, why did you do this to me? And the second, about 3 minutes later, all of a sudden, jiggle, jiggle, the door opens, and I look, and there's my 3-year-old son, Grant. He comes in, and he goes, Daddy, you work too hard. I'm like, Grant, come here. Come over here. And then he leaves. So the next day, I say another silent prayer. Oh, God, I work too hard. What am I supposed to do? And jiggle, jiggle. Door opens. Grant comes in, and he goes, Daddy, you need to play. Okay? I am not making this up. Now, most of you who would believe, maybe some of these newcomers, believe in God, answers your prayers, all that sort of stuff. Well, not me. No, not the left brain nuclear engineer math major. I calculate the probability. What's the chance of Grant coming in my room in any random 1 minute period of time? What's the chance of Grant coming in my room after I say a silent prayer that he doesn't hear? What's the chance of Grant having an answer? Well, how many random statements does a 3-year-old have? What's this a random statement? What's the probability of that answer? You get it? This is why my wife says I'm a very strange person. Okay, yeah, true dad. So I calculate the chance of this happening once is 1 in 1,000. The chance of it happening twice is 1 in 1,000,000. So I'm starting to get cheered up. Either Grant is reading my mind or God is answering my prayers. Either way, I don't know. This is kind of interesting. So the next day I'm laying in bed and I'm thinking, okay, God, I work too hard. I'm supposed to play. What kind of answer is that? Can you give me a better answer? Jiggle, jiggle. Grant comes in. And he starts bouncing around the floor like this, jiggling, singing, he's like dancing, and he can't say his R's. His R's come out W, and he's going, remember, 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 remember. And I'm like, Grant, remember what? Remember what? And then he's gone. Damn. Yeah, let me tell you something. This was amazing. I spent 5 years trying to answer that. What am I supposed to remember? And it is so profound. Remember who you are. Remember where you came from. Remember why you're here. Oh my God, from a 3-year-old. So that takes 5 years. Let me tell you what happens. For the next day or week or so later, my father-in-law calls me up. He's 88 years old. He's in Florida. I'm in Singapore. And he's kind of a crusty, old guy. And he's pretty tough. He got shot twice in Iwo Jima. And he's had a couple of heart attacks and a couple of strokes and survived living with my mother-in-law for 30 years. So Dad's pretty tough, and I kind of respect him for all that. So he calls up and he goes, how you doing, John? And I said, oh, Dad, I'm not doing so good. And he says, you need to get up and walk. And I said, Dad, I can't walk. You need to get your DD butt out of bed and walk 1 minute. I'm like, yeah, I love you too. Thanks, Dad. So I get up and I walk 1 minute, and then the next day, and it hurts a lot, and I walk 2 minutes and 3 minutes. By the end of the month, I'm walking 30 minutes, and after 2 months or 3 months later, I guess I'm finally starting to get back to work. And you might think everything's okay, but oh no, everything is far from okay. Besides the fact that I'm starting to wonder why I work to death and why I've got servants and I'm a multimillionaire and all these wonderful things and I'm advising all these people, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Why am I working? I'm working because I'm not happy. So if I work so hard, I don't have to remember that I'm not happy. But if you stop and think about it, why am I not happy? I don't know. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do for some strange reason. This is bizarre. So I've got to answer these questions, but it gets much worse. Because I watch my hand write not knowing what's coming out of it. And I'm like, what is it? What is my hand doing? Oh my God, it's writing something, I become fluent in languages. I become fluent in Mandarin in 60 hours. My Mandarin is so good that people in China don't want me to talk to them in Chinese because they're embarrassed. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. That's what they say. And I still remember quite a lot. This is, 12 years ago. I start having visions. Now, vision is like watching a movie. It's like really, it's there. One of the first ones I saw was a vision about a funeral and the events and people. And then 3 or 4 days later, I walk around the street corner and there it is. And I'm like, whoa. I was like, Then I remembered that I actually knew the Valdez oil spill was going to happen in 1989 because I had a dream about it happening before it happened. But I never told anyone. In fact, I never told anyone these stories. This is 2014. The book came out in 2012. We're talking 2000. I didn't tell anyone my experiences or my story for 12 years because I was ashamed. I thought I was weird. I thought I was going crazy. I started having visionings. I saw other visions. I saw my financial system collapse in the company. Then they got worse. I saw visions and I had all the detailed information. I knew about terrorist activities. I knew about the energy crisis. I knew about the financial crisis. And you can go on my website at jdmessenger.com because I launched a radio show on CNN called Global Evolution, and I didn't know what to do. So I used my radio show, and no one knew this at the time. I was trying to tell people what was happening. I was trying to tell them what was going on. And you can go look at the position paper I wrote to 3 presidential candidates telling them what we needed to do about energy. You can listen to the show on the financial collapse or the energy collapse, and it's all dated years before it happened. And it all aired years before it happened, but no one listened. No one listened. So I was pretty frustrated, obviously, and I didn't know what to do. But I began a quest because something miraculous happened. My neck, which was solid bone, in 3 vertebrae, my vertebrae regenerated. And I apologize, I forgot to bring my x-rays. And they show my neck solid bone fused in 2000, and then now, my vertebrae are regenerated. And I've shown these to 50 doctors, and there's no medical explanation for it. Western medical science, right? Science can't prove it. I'm an anomaly. There is absolutely no means by which science, these doctors can look and say, your bone is solid bone infused, but yet this is your MRI and X-ray and your vertebrae are back. Well, this must be wrong, or this is wrong, Doesn't compute. I shouldn't be standing here going like this. I should be, even if my vertebrae regenerated, which of course they did, there's no discs. There should be vertebrae grinding on vertebrae right now. I shouldn't be doing any of this stuff. No explanation, yet it's here, yet it's real. I see angels, if you want to call them that. People floating down talking to me, just like you there. They're androgynous, look like a strong man with beautiful feminine sort of facial features. On and on and on. Every metaphysical phenomenon happens to me. So what do I want to do? I want to take a gun and go like this. I do. This doesn't fit my definition of reality. I must be going crazy. And I finally pray, and I quit my job, and I get ideas and insights. So this is like 2002, 2003, before the CNN show. I jumped time on you there, sorry. So I travel around the world, and I interview people, and then I do the radio show, and I interview the world's greatest thought leaders, the world's greatest theologians. I interviewed Stephen Covey 16 times, who was a very spiritual person, who absolutely believed in many lives, but didn't write that publicly. I interviewed Francis Collins, who led the Human Genome Project, 2,500 scientists, the #1 genetic scientist in the world. You see, I'm this AAA engineer and left brain. I want answers. I am not going to stop until I can explain and justify the convergence of science and faith in my mind. Because I believe in God, I believe in angels, and I believe in science. So there's got to be an explanation. And basically, I find it. And it's nothing new. We've known all this for a long time, and it's all there. Francis Collins says, yes, we can restructure our DNA. It's not solid. Bruce Lipton says that, but the whole medical industry wants to ignore him and that, because again, we want you to put, pins and plates and cadaver bones in. We don't want you. I'm in Asia. I'm having acupuncture and Reiki and energy healing and Chinese teas, and I'm totally purified, and my vertebrae regenerate. Well, some people that think that bone is solid, or that glass is solid, or this table is solid, you might have a hard time accepting that, but that's not solid. Nothing is solid. Everything is pure energy. If you look with a microscope into my finger, 100 million times magnification, you're going to see nothing. You're going to see clouds of protons and photons and electrons, but you're not going to see anything solid matter. Physicians know that. I interviewed the Nobel laureate in CERN, slamming together stuff at the superconductor, super collider, trying to find the God particle. Professor Frank Wilczek, he helped prove Einstein's formula. That's how he got his Nobel Prize. I'll tell you, I said, what is solid? And he's like, well, nothing's really solid. I said, what am I? He goes, kind of like nothing, And I said, well, he goes, it's really pure energy. Yeah, I said, I'm a nuclear engineer. I understand that. Everything is pure energy. Energies is photons. Photons is light. You are a light being. You came from the world of light. We are still in the world of light. And we are existing within the world of form, which is within the world of light. And you have the ability to manipulate what you think of as solid matter by manipulating the photons and the light. And that's what healers do. Back to, it's not what you see that you believe, it's what you believe. You see, those doctors could see those x-rays, but they didn't believe it. But those healers who worked on me, doing craniosacral therapy and Reiki and all that, they believed. And they restructured. In fact, I forgot to say this morning, that when those healers were working on me, I saw an image in my mind's eye, in my third eye. It looked like an egg with all kinds of lines and dots and blue and purple. It was beautiful. It was a stem cell. When those healers were working on me, they were reprogramming my stem cells, which reprogrammed and restructured and regenerated the vertebrae in my neck. That's how powerful you are and how great you can be if you shatter the illusions that death is the end, that matter is solid, that time only goes in one direction, linear forward. How can you have an insight of something in the future before it happens, right? You see, time doesn't, you can't see time, feel time, smell time, taste time. It's an illusion, It's an absolute illusion, and Einstein's known this, and we've known this, okay? In fact, when I spoke like this in New York City, 20% of the people that came were survivors from 9/11. And they wanted to understand how they could see it happening because they knew it was going to happen. They knew it was going to happen. And a dream, a vision, or whatever. So when my book comes out, I get 100,000 emails from people telling me, I got to tell you a secret. I got to tell you a story I've never told anyone before. And they go on and tell me stories. Generals, admirals, prime ministers, telling me their stories. I get a letter the FBI director got 11 days in May, and 3 days later I got a handwritten letter on the FBI letterhead. I'm like, whoa. Thanking me for writing this great book. This is a great testament our country sorely needs. I asked him if I could use his testament, and he says, sure, use it anywhere and everywhere. Why would the director of the FBI do that? Because he had an experience. He knows it's true. That's what these people, I have police officers. I love this story. I have a police officer calls me, thinks he's going crazy, and I'm like, what's the matter with you? And he goes, well, I've never told anyone this before. He goes, I hear things. I said, what do you hear? He said, I hear voices. And I said, what do they tell you? And he says, well, they tell me to duck, and when I duck, I don't get shot. I'm not kidding you. He said 4 people got behind me got shot, but I didn't get shot. And if I don't listen to that voice, bad things happen. He said, I don't know what that voice is, if it's God or whatever, but let me tell you, that voice knows. You see, I'm getting goosebumps about right now, which is what I'm about to say. Goosebumps are truth bumps. 100 trillion cells in my body are saying yes. You see, your sixth sense, your intuition, clairvoyance, clairaudience, whatever, these are your natural abilities. And our society has poisoned our minds in thinking that this is abnormal. And all of these drugs, I've done over 5,000 tests on children with ADD and ADHD. They are some of our most spiritually gifted kids. And we're giving them pills to shut it down. You see, everything is upside down and inside out. It's all backwards. And so, you know, I'm saying, hey, wake up. You know, you are a light being. You are powerful. You are gifted. I have 5 world first inventions to my name now. None of them were my ideas. I didn't know what I was doing. I just followed it. I saw a vision of a game. I made a game in 8 hours. And then it was a $5 million contract in 30 days. I wrote this book in 11 days in May. That's why it's called 11 Days in May. I had no idea what I wrote. 11 days, honest to God. My wife said, what are you doing when you're done writing? I said, I think I wrote a book. And she said, what's it about? I said, I don't know. I haven't read it yet. Honest to God, truth. And now I've read it 20 times. And I have discovered there's knowledge and information in there that's 6,000 years old in the Vedas and in the all these other books. Somebody gave me, Kabbalah guy sent me the, the Zohar? The Zohar. He sends me the Zohar. And there's stuff, he said, you've read the Zohar. I said, I don't even know what the Zohar is. And he said, it's in your book. I said, it's not me. I was just the messenger. I just took notes. I call it the writing on the wall, W-O-W. Writing on the wall, W-O-W. Get it? Wow effect. So I just sit and I just wrote for 11 days straight. Won 5 awards. I was given an insight to create an ebook. I don't own an ebook. I don't write any books. I was told to make a full immersion book. So to me, I had to manipulate brainwaves. So I made an ebook and I added audio and visual and interactive features and I added music. 6 months later, I fly to New York and win the Innovation of the Year in the publishing industry for world's first creation with an ebook. I'm like, wasn't my idea, you know? That's what you can do. That's how powerful you are. You can do anything. There is no limit to what you can do. The last thing I want to say, and then I'll summarize, is that right now there are 500 billion emails flying around you. This you can get. Okay? You have any email for any one person anywhere in the world. There's 500 billion of these emails flying around. You've got your unique ID. Tune your unique ID, you'll get the message. Okay, guess what? This is 1 billion times more powerful than this. So on the submarine, we would block the information from singing whales and snapping shrimp by putting in a filter so that we could hear the target. That's what you do. You have filters, blocks, limiting values, limiting beliefs. And when you remove the filters and you set your intention and your motivation is pure from your heart, you'll get the answers. Ask and receive. You too can do great things. And greater can they be. It's all true. You just have to learn the science and the techniques. You've got to purify your body and get the chemicals out of it. And you've got to learn the science of how to ask and be open to receive. Because a lot of times the answers come, we don't like the answer. No, that's wrong. Give me the right answer. Right? No, you got to be open to receive. And let go of anything that no longer serves your highest and greatest good. And when you are open to receive, you can tap into all of the knowledge and wisdom and information that is and ever has been. It's all there. And it's all, to make it simple, Word documents, photos, all that stuff is digits, right? That's why we call it digital. A digit is ones and zeros. Those digits become photons, energy beams, and they're sent to a satellite. That's how every television show, every picture, every document, every book, every email, that's how it's working right now. It's that simple. And you're an energy processing being. You are a part of God. God is a part of you. And we are all a part of one. We are 99.9999999% all the same. Remember that thing about the part of us that's physical? It's less than 1 in 1 billion parts. And we are letting that 1 in 1 billion parts that is different make us say a Republican, Democrat, man, woman, gay, lesbian, black skin, yellow skin, whatever. It's ridiculous. Separation is the greatest illusion. all of those belief systems create labels, and those labels drive us apart. And this institution and all of these churches and belief systems like this are trying to help us overcome the faulty, limited, outdated programs that turn us into an angry robot. That's what it's all about. So what 11 Days in May does, it has 36 parables. Each parable is a conversation between me and an unnamed friend. And those parables are shattering 44 illusions. And the parables are things like who makes things, what is time, what is love, what is war, what is sex, what is a thought, what are goosebumps, what is matter, what is pain, what is suffering. Because what is confusion, what is a belief? What is confusion, what are beliefs are two of my favorite ones. But that's what we're going to talk about in the afternoon workshop. We're going to go through the parables, the 36 parables, and the illusions. So in closing, I'd just like to say, who you are is not what you do. That your life will change when you go on this path to discover your path, discover your truth, and then reveal your light, which is your power, which is your gift, which you're ashamed to talk about. Okay. Namaste.